All right, it's Wednesday night, 8 o'clock Eastern time, which means it's time for Quick Fix Golf. And we have a special guest this evening, which is special guest Wayne Player. Wayne Player, and we're going to talk about his new endeavor he has going, and he's going to give you some good tips on golf as well, too. Wayne, welcome to the gang, buddy.
Hey, thanks, guys. It's great to be on the show with you guys, and we're just so excited about our product called Player Brand Biltong. It's a South African-style jerky, and now being made here in the United States. And we put our own, name to this product, made in the Carolinas. And it's such a pure product. It's such a fantastic product. It's an air-dried beef. There's no sugar. It's made the traditional South African way that they've made it for years and years, where you put it in a shady, temperature-controlled room with a lot of fans. And there's only a handful of ingredients go on it. You've got vinegar, you've got sea salt, you've got rosemary, black pepper, crushed coriander, and a few herbs and spices, and they hang it for a week, thinly slice it, and Bob's your uncle, man. It's just such a great product. I know Darren's tasted it. I don't know if you all have tasted it, but we're excited.
It's not wallaby, is it?
What's that?
It's not wallaby meat, is it?
Wild what?
It's Australian
prime beef,
kangaroo.
Prime beef. Well, no, we don't have kangaroos in Africa. You gotta go to Australia for kangaroos.
What do you expect from a Cuban? We can't row that far. We don't know what it's like over there.
I hear you.
Okay, we're going to the first slide.
We're from Africa, brother. We're African animals, not baby kangaroos.
It's elephant meat.
Yeah, well, not quite elephant meat, but we can certainly make it out of venison. And we also do it out of bison, and but right now we're doing it out of prime beef here in the United States. Prime USA beef, baby.
Nice.
We have here is brought to you by Quick Fix Golf, Darren DeMaile, PGA Top 100 Teachers, and I got myself down rated as Bobby Lopez, rated number 2 in Havana. You know why that is, Wayne?
There's only 2 coaches in Havana.
There's only one golf pro in Havana. His name's Guillermo. So I got to be number 2.
Hey, Bobby, you're the top 2 because there's only two coaches in Havana.
That's right.
And of course, we're offering our Phil Mickelson lob wedge with the Phil Mickelson grind. All you have to do is go to quickfixgolf.io and go ahead and, or in fact, you can just go to quickfixgolf.com and find it there. Also, there's a pop-up that'll go, but quickfixgolf.io and go ahead and enter. We have the drawing going on, absolutely free.
Yep, and if you don't have one of those in your bag, you're playing for second place. You really are. But here's what we need you to do. We need you to get your cell phone out and take a video of your golf swing, and we're going to send you a free analysis, not a penny out of your pocket, and give you some drills to work on because we want you to play better golf now here at Quick Fix Golf.
Yeah, there's only one problem with the fact that Darren lives up in the Carolinas. I never get to see him. He was my guy.
Yeah,
he was my guru.
It's sad. I know, right?
Yeah,
it's
terrible. My game
together.
has gone south. It's gone south,
That's
brother.
Right.
I need to get up. I need to come north.
Well, here's where I'm going to give you some advice. Right now, we've got a slide that we're showing, and it's a picture of Bobby Knight, and he is winding up to throw a chair onto the court, and then he throws the chair onto the court. So tell us about the most important. Tell us about the most important fundamental in the game. Well, we got you here.
Well, I mean, the coach, old Bobby Knight, he would never throw in that chair off his back foot. It would have gone straight up into the air. So, he got all mad as all hell. We know that. And he always, as he was loading that chair, he took a little step up on his front foot and let the upper body rotate through it and let it rip, baby. And that's the way you have to do it. I mean, the quarterback does that. My dad did it. He always took a little step past the ball. So you got to be a front foot hitter. There's no future for being on the back foot. That's for sure. Quarterback throws off his back foot. He's not going to be throwing off his back foot for too long because he'll be sitting on the bench, right? Yeah. So all of our listeners out there, you got to learn how to be a front foot hitter with Darren. He'll teach you. Right. He'll teach you how to get up on that front foot, man.
So, but speaking of front foot hitter, Wayne, what's the difference between being a front foot hitter and being in like a stack and tilt type of golf swing?
I remember the stack and tilt. The stack and tilt was more like I know the guy seemed to get a little steep, where the left shoulder went down everybody got a little steep, whereas everybody's working away from that. You want to come from more of a shallow angle of attack. I mean, my dad told me that Ben Hogan once said that you could never swing flat enough. So it seems like the guys are trying to get a little deeper in their swing, which will allow you to be a little more level coming through the ball, Darren. I don't know. I don't want to confuse the listeners, but I don't know. You have so many of these cult movements around the game of golf instead of focusing on the basic athletic fundamentals of the game, which you have to abide by. Once you don't abide by those athletic fundamentals, you're looking for problems. You got to. We know it's better to be on a flat front foot. You need to be level. You need to be explosive. You need to be in balance. You need to be able to stick the finish. And if nothing else, at least if you stick the finish and you can hold your finish, even if it's the worst shot you've ever hit, at least you can catch yourself doing something right.
At least you look good.
Yeah, at least you look good. It's better than looking bad and hitting it crappy. That's for sure.
The next slide I had here is, I said across the top, I guess as you get older, you do get shorter. It's a picture of your dad with who's this Chinese basketball player, Darren?
Oh yeah, it's Yao Ming. Yeah, Yao Ming.
Oh my gosh.
Hey,
my dad's half the size. He's up to his right hip.
And he's putting his head up, like his hand up above his head, like he's trying to shadow the sun out of his eyes, looking straight up.
It's true. It's true. I'll tell you one thing. It's amazing that my dad at 5'7" was able to play the game at the level he did. My gosh, and even today at 86, he just turned 86 on the 1st of November, guys. And we played the other day, and he is so dynamic. I mean, he's shooting in the low 70s every single round he plays. He plays off the sort of the men's mid-tees, and I mean, just playing like you can't believe. Just so dynamic. Whereas Jack basically cannot break 100. I mean, it's all about of how you take care of yourself. Even Jack said to my dad the other day, he's not playing in the father and son event in the PNC Family Challenge in Orlando in December because he just can't play anymore. It's embarrassing.
Well, I mean, you look at Jack, and the time that I spent around him, he was concerned with his ice cream, and this is nothing that he wouldn't admit. I remember bringing ice cream to the plane many, many times, to the air barrel. Right? It's true. It's true.
It is. Of course.
And we're talking about Biltong tonight, and how your nutrition and how your body has a huge influence on some of the things you can do with your golf game. And you and your father and yourself and have always been around having the fitness and eating well. We had your dad was up here a couple months ago for a program that I'm involved with, and one of the gentlemen, Wayne, and you could tell this story. One of the gentlemen was eating some bacon at before the and it was he's one of the great guys that we have. That he's a huge he runs a huge veterans program up here. A huge PGA Hope.
Right.
And
right.
He's eating some bacon, and your father's sitting at the table with him. And Chris, his name's Chris Aranda. He's caddying for your dad that day, and he's eating bacon. And I've heard the lecture many times, but it's your father despises bacon, as so do you. You know what I mean?
I don't know why, because the top secret is actually my dad quite likes crispy bacon, but my dad was a bit of a closet eater. He'd always tell you how fit he was,
right.
And then if you went back into his closet, you found Twinkies, Ding Dongs, and M&Ms.
Right.
I get it though. But Darren, the most dynamic thing about our product is that I'm a type 1 diabetic. If I eat a 2-ounce bag of our biltong, which is South African style jerky, which you can find online at playerbiltong.com, I need no insulin to regulate my blood sugar. And we actually use biltong bits, little bits that come off the board when they slice it and it's going down the conveyor belt. I use these little biltong bits instead of bacon bits in bacon. Like at Chick-fil-A, you have bacon bits. They should be using biltong bits because it's just that much tastier and that much healthier for you, I mean, bacon's cured with all sorts of different things, and our product only has natural ingredients. And the biltong industry is here to stay. I mean, you have big companies like Chef's Cut. You know, you got Strive. You got a lot of big companies out there that are making biltong. And I think we're going to see the biltong industry really grow here in the United States. I mean, we were founded in North Carolina by a company called Biltong USA. It was a South African company, and we've been ordering from them for like 25 years, and they made the most fantastic product. So I'd encourage all your listeners to get online and to order our biltong because it's so much more tender. It's flavorful. It's got a little bit of a fat content to it. It's very low glycemic. We have zero sugar, twice as much protein as any bag of jerky has. And I tell you one thing, in a 2-ounce bag, you're not going to leave much behind, brother.
Nope.
I ate the whole bag.
Yeah, there you go. You're not going to, it's pointless having a 1-ounce bag when you can have a 2-ounce bag.
But I had another bag I would eat now.
Darren, I think another place where, you know, our product really resonates is in the schools. I mean, if you look, I mean, obesity is a massive problem at the school level. All these kids are carrying too much weight. They're all eating carbs. You know, a company like Pepsi Cola deliver all these vending machines, and they got carbs. I mean, if you think of what comes out of a vending machine and what these kids eat, you know, all these carbs all day long, and they've got refined sugar going, and they just keep doing it, you know, and it's really habitual. And it's a big problem we have in the United States.
No, what we've got, you know, a gentleman that's joined our team recently. His name's Austin, and he's over at Coastal Carolina. And that's one of the things we're trying to do is trying to get some of that biltong into over at Coastal because of the, you know, the college
Correct.
kids. That's a great place for them to think about their nutrition and how they're playing on the golf course. And one of the things that I encourage is that, you know, when you have a scorecard, people don't take advantage of it. And what I'm advising here is that circle a couple holes. Let's say like hole number 4 and hole number 8, hole number 12, that you have a little piece of your biltong to keep your energy and levels up to where you can maximize your performance for 18 holes. And Austin is one of our great pickups of late. And Austin actually ran into your father a little earlier this year. You there with us, Austin?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Yep. So we'd love to get in hands
awesome.
over at Coastal, and you're right, Wayne. It's the schools are a huge part of it, and getting children and people in college to start to think the correct way, at least when it comes to their golf games. That, you know, it is 18 holes, and you're out there for 4.5 hours, and you know, stamina is part of the whole game. It's not just can you swing a golf club?
Well, Darren, you know, it just was a little while back at the British Open this year, and Jordan Spieth was out playing the last day, and he looked like he was getting a little bit weak and a little shaky, and he had to sort of get something to eat. And I actually spoke to a South African friend today who competed in triathlons, and he said it would be like a 12-hour-long triathlon. And they'd always eat like 3 or 4 ounces of the biltong before they went out on this run. And it lasted for them for like 12 hours. So it was without a question of doubt the best product to eat to help them sustain energy, as opposed to, you know, energy bars are full of sugar. You know, energy drinks are full of sugar. That lasts for about an hour and you collapse in a heap. So, you know, look, we're just excited to be able to make this great product in the United States. We have a South African partner. We make it in the Carolinas. It resonates at every level. I mean, you know, you could be a basketball player, football player, you know, you name it. I mean, a hockey player, golf player. You know, if you're going out to play golf, I mean, you don't want to be eating a whole bunch of junk out there. So to have that biltong as you go along the way is really the best snack you could have. And we certainly don't want to be eating sugar, and sugar's got to go. We do have a little sodium to make sure that the product keeps, but it resonates also with a beverage. So if you're drinking lots of fluid and, you know, you're staying hydrated, and you're eating our product, you're good. And, most jerky has about 18 grams of sugar in every bag. And so if you just think about that, COVID has really got us thinking about what is actually in the bag. I mean, come on, it's crazy.
Yeah.
With this whole pandemic is really an unfit pandemic. It's people who are worried about their health, that are worried about if they get this problem, they're going to die, and if we were all in really good shape, I don't think we'd have this pandemic. I really don't.
Yeah. So,
that's just my humble opinion.
So with the pandemic, a lot more people are playing the game. And can you
Right.
give us your best drill for ball striking?
Well, Darren, I think that the most important, we've all sort of been, we've all bought into the fact that you need to overload on your back foot. You got to turn your hips, get your weight back into your right side to be able to get to your left side. We bought into that stuff, and if you think about it, as the quarterback loads to throw the ball, he always steps. So at the top of his load, he always seems to have a little more weight up on his front foot than all the way on his back foot. And that's the way you can deliver the upper core and the upper body in a more efficient way up on your front foot. So, I remember Lee Trevino teaching me to take my right foot, pull it a little back off the line, pick up my heel, turn my right knee in, put a little more weight up on my front foot, and I would turn and my upper core would load, and I was already up on my front foot. And then I would just really turn my inner body through the ball as hard as I could to allow centrifugal force to take place. Now, I don't want to be too complex, but that's really what it comes down to. If you want to deliver power, think if you were to chop a tree down, you would get yourself a stance. You'd get pretty wide stance. You'd have the axe in a powerful way in between your hands and arms, and you would deliver your chest into that tree, despite the fact that your hands and arms are wielding that axe. So that's why my dad always rotated his body to such a degree that his momentum took him past the ball and he took a step past the ball, because his upper body was always in that perfect spot to allow the hands and arms to be more powerful. So hopefully I'm making some sense.
Oh, yeah.
For your listeners, and really that's what it comes down to. The old adage about clearing your left hip out the way and the upper body stays well back. Today, these guys don't want to get the club gets too far behind them, and they trying to get that core through the ball. Let me tell you, they all are. Every single one of these guys are working on the same thing. And we've been talking about this, Darren, for 20 years.
Yeah. Yep.
Now we have a slide on here now that shows you teeing off of a grip.
Yeah. Well, that is top secret. That was
we had to bring this one up tonight.
What's the advantage of using the tall tee?
Hey, let me tell you something. In baseball, you got a thing called T-ball for baseball, and the reason they use a high tee is because the urge for kids playing baseball is to hit up. They're trying to get the ball in the air, and then they get sit on their back foot and they have these pop-ups. So that's why they had high tee in baseball, is to help you feel like you could stay more level through the ball. And that is the biggest nemesis in golf, is the fact that most golfers feel that urge to add loft to the club, stay on their back foot, and try to lift the ball up. And we know that the only medium that gets the ball in the air is the loft on the club, L-O-F-T. And you know what that doesn't stand for, right, Darren?
Right.
We don't want to get too into the gritty details. L-O-F-T. That's what Jack told me once upon a time when I was playing the 18th at the Bears Club, and I couldn't keep that ball on the green. He said, it's all about
That's
loft.
Right.
So just use your imagination, folks.
Yep.
So that's what it is. I mean, really, there's certain urges that we have in the game of golf. It's a tough game. We have to never talk to the golf ball. And that's why we came up with the high tee, because it's a golf grip. You cut it an inch below the grip. You stick it in the ground. You put a tee in the top. You got about a 14 high inch elevated tee. And if you hit 3 woods or drivers off that tee and you don't stay level, it's not going to be a pretty sight. Or if you practice, with the ball above your feet on a side slope, is a great way to be level through the ball.
Right.
So I think we have to be a little more sort of out of the box in the way we're thinking to feel some of these feels in the game, as opposed to always being too analytical and being totally paralyzed by analysis,
Boy, you see that a lot. I see that a lot.
Gosh. Yeah. You know what Robin Williams said about golf? He said that's why they call it a stroke, because every time you hit it, you think you're going to die. And they put shit away like grass and trees and bushes. And he said, do they do this one time? He says, hell no. He said, they do this 18 times.
He was great on
So
that.
that's what resonates. It's so funny.
Yeah. Let me ask you a quick question on putting. I know your father was a big Bobby Locke fan. What's your theory on putting? You pop the ball, long fluid stroke. Where do you stand with that?
Darren, there's so many different ways to skin a cat and to putt. I think basically when I think of a guy like Isao Oki, the Japanese player who was brilliant, what a putter he was. He had the toe of the putter up in the air, but he always picked it up and hit down on it. And he hit down on it. It was always positive. It was never like a wish stroke, if that makes sense. My dad grew up, putting his right knee against his left. He grew up on grainy greens, and he always sort of hit down on the putt. So it's not a bad practice to practice hitting down on the putt, even if you don't follow through. The late George Knudsen, who was an incredible ball striker, actually used to put his foot in front of the ball and the rapid where his left foot would hit up against the putter. And he never hit a bad putt. If he tried to stroke it, he always had a yip. And so I think we are too programmed into thinking, okay, well, we keep the left wrist going, and let's make a nice, smooth stroke. I mean, if you look at the guys today, every second guy's gone with the claw, with some kind of a claw, some version, right? Because putting is a nerve-wracking experience. I mean, it is. Look at the Golden Bear, Jack Nicklaus. He turned both toes in. He got way down. His right arm had a big lot of lag in it. I mean, who putts like that anymore? But you know what? Jack was a pretty good putter, don't you think? I mean,
got that right.
The greatest golfer in the world holds more putts than you can possibly imagine. If you think no young player putts like Jack Nicklaus. I'll never forget Billy Ray Brown was interviewing Lee Trevino, and Lee was saying, guys, he said, for a couple of years, I really couldn't putt with a darn. And all of a sudden, I was on this one hole, and I said, how did Jack putt? He said, I got down just like Jack, and I was mimicking Jack. I had a 20-footer, got a lot of lag in my right wrist. I knocked it right in the middle. The first putt. He said, I putted that way for over a year. So I don't know what exactly is the right way to putt. All I know is you have to use a technique that even if you're a little nervy, it still is okay. My dad was always one to say, you should never look up because, at the end of the day, if you take a practice stroke, you wouldn't peek anyhow because there's nothing to look at. The ball's not in motion. The ball's not rolling. And that's what seems to happen to a lot of us. We get nervous, we get anxious, and we take a putt and we get a little herky-jerky and we're looking up too quickly. And that's not good, So sometimes it's best to go to the putting green and take 3 or 4 balls and just putt into space, just making, just continuous strokes, never looking up just to feel that free stroke. Not so easy to do that at the ball when there's a target in the way, or if you're at the free throw line, and some basketball players are great free throw throwers, others are not. It's simple as that. Does this all make sense? If it's that easy, I just cannot tell everybody this is exactly the way you need to putt. I mean, we had Jim Nelford once, who was a right-hand player who putted left-handed. But it worked for him. So you just have to find a way to do it. That's all I can say. Find a way. And use people like you guys to find that way, to be a little more out of the box in your thinking, to find a way that really works for you. I've chipped with my right hand only for 10 years now. Because I've worked out I'm a better chipper with my right hand only than with 2 hands on it. So why would I want to go with 2 hands on the club? I found out that's my way. You have to find your way.
Yeah.
And I hope that makes sense, Darren.
Yeah, speaking of which, and I know your time is valuable, but speaking of the right hand only little chip or pitch shot, I saw Jackie doing that. It was a while back, and he would face the target, and you just use his right hand only. And I thought that was just absolutely amazing. And because it allows you to get the club to swing by and use the bounce, and And
Correct.
meanwhile, there was a gentleman that was instructing him at the time, and I'm not going to use the gentleman's name, that said, you don't want to do that. That's probably not a good idea. And this is a really good gentleman, by the way. And
Exactly.
I was just like, I was shocked that he would say that, but that's a really unique thing. And I did a video on that about 2 years ago. On that's kind of the secret to hitting some little chip and pitch shots.
Well, Tiger practices that way all the time.
Right.
He practices putting with his right hand only. He practices chipping with his right hand only. You know, if you got your weight up on your front foot and you don't have weight too much on the back foot, and you have good, what it allows is good motion. You have to have lag. You can't flip it from the top. You have to keep everything going, and it's sort of like resonates better. You know, not everybody can do it, but it's worthwhile practicing. Let me tell you, it's 100% worthwhile practicing, and it really works. I mean, I remember, you know, Jack Nicklaus, the Golden Bear, who we've been all very close to, who we have such great respect for. And I said to him the other day, I said, Jack, were you ever a little yippy with your chipping through your career? He said, Wayne, I chipped so bad for a while that I putted around bunkers. If I had a bunker between me and the hole, I would take my putt and put it out to the right and take my licks. And with the greatest golf in the world is telling you that tells you that everybody can get a little nervy with this. I mean, we have a lot of people who basically give up the game because they have yipped so badly. Yeah. But you've got to be good to yourself. Forgive yourself mistakes made. Take a deep breath and, you know, let the cards fall where they may. You know, we all get too serious about this game, and we go out there and there's all sorts of, you know, as the late Robin Williams says, all sorts of shite in the way, and there's out-of-bounds stakes and there's hazards and there are people watching, and, you know, you could be as nervous as you want or negative, or you can be positive and say, look, you know, I'm going to enjoy this day. I'm going to let the cards fall where they may. I'm going to let the big dog eat, and if she dies, she dies, and let's have some fun out here, right? I don't know what else to say, man.
Yep.
Now we got a picture of your biltong. Where can we buy this? What's the URL of the website?
Well, the best place to go is Player, which nobody will forget that name, and then Biltong, which is like B for Bravo, ILTONG.com. Google it. You can order it online. We're slowly growing. We have a lot of big distribution about to just go crazy with our product throughout the whole United States. We're talking to 7-Eleven. We're talking to a lot of big convenience stores to have it. We are going to have a Biltong stick, like a Slim Jim, coming out soon. We have 1-ounce bags, 2-ounce bags. I know you guys have tried it. It just is so much better than jerky. I mean, at the end of the day, Darren, all these people that went to South Africa and went on these golfing safaris or golfing trips, and they tasted our product in South Africa, they all fell in love with it, loved it, tried to smuggle it through customs, and there's always a dog in Atlanta or in New York at Kennedy sniffing it out. They had to turn it in. I mean, if jerky was so good, why would they try and get the biltong back in the United States? So we're just so excited about our product. It resonates with my dad. He's the Jack LaLanne of golf. We finally got his image on a food product that reflects a far healthier option as far as snack items.
I always think Bernhard is the Gary Player of Germany.
Yeah, well, he is. In fact, I don't think he's even tried our product, but he should, because he'll love it. I've yet to have a tasting with a F&B director or a chef or a manager of a club who doesn't just love the product. You know, it's such a great grab and go product. You know, it's Seminole down here, which is a very exclusive club in Jupiter, Florida. Last season they sold 28 cases of 48. And as you finish at Seminole number 9, you go right by the halfway house. You pick up a beverage, and the first thing they did when they reopened on the 23rd of October, Darren, they called us and they said, "We need 6 cases." Yeah. You were the first guys that we thought about to reorder for snack items, and that made us feel so proud. You know, so it's not an easy thing starting when you got a massive a massive category like the beef jerky category. That's a $2.5 billion industry, and everybody's used to eating jacklings. But I can promise you, whoever the listener is out there, if you've eaten jacklings, you have to buy our biltong, because you'll never eat jacklings again.
I could help you sell in some of the Cuban grocery stores if you change the name to Conchitas Biltong.
I'd be happy to do
Would
so.
you
If we
think
can
about
make some
doing
money
that?
out of it, brother, we are all in. We're all
Conchitas Biltong.
Yes, let's do it. I like it. It's great. Cubans will love it. In fact, one of my best friends here in town, his name's Rafael. He's from Cuban descent. And, man, he's all about, these beautiful, like pork roasts. And he does, all sorts of great meat items. And he just loves our product. So it doesn't make a difference what country you're in, what nationality you're in. This product is here to stay. Americans may as well get used to it and get excited about it and start ordering it, because we're going to see more and more brands go towards this fantastic product.
Do you mind sticking around a couple more minutes and answering some questions from the peanut gallery here?
Absolutely.
Because I know they'd love to talk to you. Who's got a question? Davis, anybody? I think I have to unmute.
Don't be shy, guys. Don't be shy.
Wayne, my name's Joe McLean. I'm down in Florida as well. I'm in Naples. And I wanted to get your opinion on finishing the swing with a stiff left leg versus a Mo Norman finish that has a bent left leg. He kind of worked his way into a bent left leg. Are you a proponent of actually firming that left leg up upon impact, or letting it stay flexed?
Joe, I think I prefer a slightly straighter leg, as long as the body is rotating through the ball and you can keep your left foot a little more flat. If you probably noticed, there are a lot of golfers who keep their left foot too far turned in. So if you don't go with the fundamental of like at least a 45-degree half-turn open left foot, you're going to find that your left foot rolls a lot. And if you have a left foot that's rolling a lot, firstly, it's not good for your left ankle. So I would say as long as you get that left foot open enough and you can rotate through the ball and you can stay on a pretty flat foot and your left leg's pretty straight and you're completely off your back foot to where the only weight is on your big right toe, I think that'll really help a lot of golfers, because it's like you begin with the end in mind, Joe. If you understand, if you can make a practice swing and feel that finish where you feel 100% of your mass up on your front foot, is a pretty flat foot, yeah, you can have a pretty straight left leg. Because if your legs are running from beneath you and you got that leg drive and it's, and you got that C going, you're only going to lose power. You're only going to hit, your arms, your body's going to be too far behind the ball. I mean, Darren's seen me hit a lot of shots off my knees. And, not everybody's going to hit a shot off their knees. But if you don't stay level and if your core's not moving through the ball on your knees, you don't have a hope in hell. So I prefer a more open foot, a slightly straighter left leg, where you totally rotate and you've just got a little weight on your back right toe. That's a lot of weight, because let me tell you, that's the biggest nemesis in golf. I mean, I would say out of 100 golfers, 95 have no idea of how to get their way to the left side. 95 out of 100.
Wow.
Hopefully that's answered your question, brother.
I appreciate it. Thank you much.
Anybody else?
You bet.
What about you, Albie? He mentioned George Knudsen. Albie's a George Knudsen fan. He's in Canada.
Yeah, I was going to ask him. I used to putt against George when I was a kid. As bad a putter as he was, he's got all my money, I'll tell you. But what did you say he did about tapping his left foot?
Yes.
He had the yips or something?
He did. He used to take, so if he's a right-hander, he'd take his left foot, put it right over the ball, lift up the toe. So the ball was literally 1 inch. So he would take the putter. So as he comes through, he couldn't follow through at all, right? Because his foot was there. So he had to make a positive. You had to make a positive hit at the ball. So a guy like George Knudsen, Hogan once said he was the finest striker of the ball he ever saw. I love George Knudsen's philosophy. We used to watch. He had an old tape where he taped it in Bermuda, and he was a genius. The only reason he didn't win many majors was because he didn't putt great, and that's the harsh reality. But he came out with some cool remedies, and I don't know if you're allowed to do that these days, but I don't know why not. Nobody seems to. Every time I try that, Darren, I hit the most beautiful putt. It's always positive, never negative. It's never a wish stroke. Don't you think, guys? There's nothing worse than somebody who decelerates or makes a wish stroke at something. You go, oh my gosh, are you serious? But, putting stuff, and George worked it out. He was amazing. Not enough people know enough about George Snitson. That's for sure. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a video and a book. I read the book. I don't know how many times.
Well, they
Correct.
just played at that course a couple weeks ago in Bermuda.
Oh, really?
That 16th hole, the par 3. If you hit it left, you're in North Carolina.
I remember that was one of the holes that he had in his video.
Yeah, beautiful. What a hole. Beautiful. We played there.
Oh, my gosh. And the wind always seemed to be howling like such a gale force wind.
Yeah.
Didn't he used to say, Wayne, I can't wait to get on my big left toe?
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's right.
There you go. Yeah, his big right toe. He said the only weight that there should be on any part of your right side is on your top right toe at the finish. And how many, amateur golfers do we see with their right foot flat at the moment of impact? I mean, really. I mean, you got to get off that back foot. And it's as simple as that. I mean, my dad took a step past the ball. I never forget, in 1974,
I've seen him walk. I've seen him walk down the fairway after he hits it.
Yeah. 74, he was one shot ahead of Dave Stockton playing 17 at Augusta. And he had like this 8-iron before the course was really lengthened. And, man, he took a step dead in front of him. And as he hit it, he just put the club right back in the bag. And I knew it was good. And he hit it like 10 inches from the hole, which enabled him to go 2 shots ahead with 1 hole to play, which is a hell of a lot better than being 1 shot ahead with 1 hole to play, So there you have it. Absolutely. The beautiful part about the game of golf is that, people are fanatics. They're always looking for something better, some little trick of the trade, something that can help them a little bit. And there are a lot of those little tricks, little tiny little things that can make such a big difference to all of our games. And, Darren, you and I have often spoken about it. You're never more than a couple of shots from your very best game, and you're never more than a couple of shots from your very worst game. So it keeps us humble. You just go about your task. And I'm telling you now, if somebody gets overly confident, it's the beginning of their demise. But the game is so solid. I want to get some of our Biltong to Shambo. I think he would eat like 15 bags a day. Don't you think, Darren?
Well, I'm going to be out there next week, so I will do my best to put a bag in his hand. Okay, I promise.
You got to do that.
I promise.
I guarantee you, he loves it.
I promise I will do my best to put a bag in his hand. So,
yeah, you got it, brother. I know you will.
As long as the dogs at the airport don't take him out of my bag. All right.
Actually, we started getting Biltong involved in the pet industry, calling it player's best friend, because
there
if
you
you've
go.
ever fed Biltong to dogs, oh my God, they go crazy for this product.
Well,
And
we appreciate you.
Most of us love our dogs more than our kids, Darren.
Yeah, exactly. We appreciate your time tonight, Wayne. There you have it. Brand new player brand Biltong. Some great stories once again from Wayne, who's been on our show a couple times. And don't hesitate to go to the website and pick yourself up a bag or two and share it with your friends, because it's great for your golf game, and we want you to play better golf now. So
Darren, could I ask one more question about the Biltong? It's Joe again. I was on your site here while we've been talking, and I see you have 3 different bags, 3 different flavors. Are you do you have a favorite flavor yourself, or do you suggest, which is what I'm going to do, buy the party pack and get all 3 of them and test which one I like best? I see you have a original, a chili one, I think, and then maybe a garlic type of thing. Do you have a favorite?
Yeah, we have a spicy chili, a garlic and herb, and an original. And Joe, I must be honest, they're all great. I prefer a spicy chili with a beverage if I'm having a beer. Or if I'm having a scotch or a glass of wine. I think the spicy resonates with a beverage because it gives you a little bit of a kick. I think the garlic and herb is one of my favorite, for a post-workout. If I'm getting a little peckish at around 11 o'clock and after I've worked out, I think that's great. Or if you're just about to go play golf. The worst thing you can do, Joe, is when you finish 9 holes, be too hungry. everybody's eating hot dogs and, they're eating sandwiches and burgers. I mean, that's just tragic, right? So if you get to the house and you've had a bag of the garlic and herb, you're not going to be as hungry. You might just pick up a beverage, and that's about it. Most of us overeat. And then the original is just it's a neutral product for kids that everybody loves. It's got a fat content. It's nice and tender. It's flavorful. There's no sugar. So all three, resonate with different types of folks, but they're all great. So get that party pack, baby.
That's what I'm going to do. Thanks a lot, Wayne.
You bet, Joe. You bet.
Wayne, you're the best, buddy.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. Darren, love you, man.
Yep.
And I
Okay,
really appreciate you guys. We're excited about our business. We need everybody's help. When you got a brand like ours that is growing, it's not easy. It's a tough fight, but what a great country to live here in the United States of America and try and make this thing work. It's a real pleasure and it's fun each and every day.
All right, good deal. Have a good
Wayne
night.
Player.
You bet, guys. You guys
all
take
the
it easy.
best.
Have a good night. God bless. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good night.